This past Saturday's fight between Jamel Herring and Shakur Stevenson was positioned as a coming out party for the Brick City native. It was time for Shakur to show and prove. He did just that with flying colors. In prior fights, some critics deemed him as being not entertaining or offensive-minded enough. Shakur put that talk to rest, nearly doubling Herring's landed punches en route to a lopsided victory and a 10th round TKO. Here's Shakur Stevenson following his dominating win.
It was really my mindset at the end of the day. My mindset was, I'm going in here to take the belt. I'm not going to make this close. I'm not going to make this a fight that everybody is expecting to be. I want to dominate. I'm a dominating fighter. I dominate all my fights, and nothing going to change with anybody in front of me. I don't care who it is. I got dog in me. Like, people got to understand that, too. I'm from Newark, New Jersey. I always had dog in me. I don't know why people always just think I don't got no dog in me because I dominate and make it look easy. I got both sides in me. I could do both. I could box. I could fight. I'm more than just a boxer. He's a hell of a fighter, and I was just the better man.
We've seen Shakur fight different type of fights, but most of the time is highly defensive and dominating performance. Did he prove to the fight fans that he does have that dog in him on Saturday night?
100%, but he already proved that. And see, the problem is that the average fan, maybe they don't understand that styles make fights. But when the media doesn't understand that styles make fights, then that's a problem. You know, understand that his last fight with Jeremiah, he's fighting a guy who was 21-1 with 17 knockouts, so that's in a high 70% of KO ratio. Now you're talking about Jamel Herring, who's a great champion, but his KO ratio is more in the 40%. So it's a different fight. So you're not gonna go in there against Jeremiah and blast him out. So it's not like he can't throw hard punches. It's not like he's not offensive minded. He has to be defensive against a guy that hits much harder. He felt it. He might have said, wow, this guy can really crack. I don't want to risk getting knocked out. I got to break him down. And if I can't break him down, then I'm going to win by points from the outside. Anthony Joshua, a crazy finisher, like Chris Mannix says, you know. But guess what? He can knock everybody out, high knockout percentage, but he chose to fight from the outside because Ruiz's inside game is too fast for him, and styles make fights. Shakur Stevenson just reminded us, and he also showed us that he can do that against a champion. He can do that against a champion. He's faster. He shows that his punch placement is ridiculous, and most of all, I believe, his ability to judge distance is unmatched.
There are only a handful of fighters, Barack, that can be, I guess, considered guys that aren't knockout artists, guys that, you know, you would think that, you would assume most of the time that they're going a distance. I don't know why people felt like that about Shakur, but I can only think of a few fighters that can be that entertaining, because people keep talking about entertaining and him being a boring fighter. But this guy's in the conversations with guys like Pernell Whitaker, guys like late Floyd Mayweather, guys like Ali, guys like, you know, Willie Pep. I'm talking about where you can be so entertained and not even be looking for a knockout. You're just watching magic in the ring, right? You're just watching art, so to speak, where you don't need to see a brutal knockout to be entertained and glued to your seat. It's not easy to do that with these, you know, these fickle fight fans that just aren't ever happy. So the fact that I sat there and didn't even think about the show today, didn't think about what I do for a living. I was a fight fan and amazed at what he was doing. Barack, I'm glad you brought up the point. Distance. That is one of the most difficult things to do. Even world champions could, even like AJ had issues getting distance with Usyk, and he was a longer fighter. We see that all the times with very successful fighters. So at this age, for him to be, even Floyd Mayweather at that age didn't have the distance down pat. Floyd was a very offensive-minded fighter, but I watched some old footage, honestly, this weekend of Floyd, because I just wanted to see a 23-year-old Floyd, how he, you know, just the way he approached his opponent. And even at distance, sometimes he wasn't where he wanted to be. I think that he's mastered that, and I think that it means that it's going to be very scary for fighters in his division, and a weight class north that most likely he's going to fight those guys. Very scary for those guys. This kid is beyond talented, Barack.
Yeah, I disagree with the Floyd comment. I think Floyd was just willing to take shots from certain guys in the beginning of his career, fighting 9 guys in 1 year. But listen, you can't please everybody. Think about it. I was there in attendance, and the fans actually started to boo in the first round. They don't even give guys a feel out round. Like, it's ridiculous. And Shakur was like, oh my, I know in his head he's like, what the hell if he heard the boos? Hopefully he was focused and he didn't even hear the boos. But that's how the fans are. So we can't judge according to their judgment. He turned it up, and not just that, he did it against a champion who had incredible momentum coming into that fight. And another thing, you got to understand, like you said, he had this incredible distance even compared to Floyd. He had a long amateur career. He had a brilliant amateur career, silver medalist in the Olympics, just like guys like Sugar Ray Leonard. So 2 years into Sugar Ray Leonard's career, he fought Wilfred Benitez. 3 years, he fought Roberto Duran twice. 4 years, he fought the hitman Thomas Hearns. So these young guys are seasoned because of their amateur career, and Shakur Stevenson just happens to be one of them. Now, that's speaking about fighters of the past. Now, let's talk about his future. I was able to catch up with Shakur in the post-fight press conference and ask him, what does he feel about his future?
I got to be honest with you. I think all of them guys is really good. Like, it's Dazn, T.O., Tank, JoJo, Ryan. It's going to be big fights between all of them, so I can't really pick a specific. But I will say, I feel like me and Tank later on down the line will be an amazing fight.
All right, Doc, I love that he mentioned Gervonta Davis, but listen, somebody else also added to this, and that's Terrence Crawford. He kind of I guess we could say he broke his silence, because we was always wondering, what's he going to say? He loves both fighters. They're both close to him. All right, this is what Terrence said on Twitter. I keep telling people little bro Shakur Stevenson going to be the next one to take over boxing, but what do I know? Does Shakur Stevenson have the most potential out of all of these young guys?
I mean, that's a tough question. I don't want to undermine a lot of these other young, talented fighters. But if you're talking about pure boxing skill, Barack, yes, I would say that I don't see anybody being as skilled as Shakur Stevenson. But, when it comes to potential, a lot of other things play a part. Power, size. There are times where a less skilled fighter can be a more skilled fighter because there are other variables that play a part in a boxing match. So there's tons of potential in boxing today. I've said it plenty times. I think that this is the era with the most talent ever in history. That's my opinion. So, I think
more like my opinion, but go ahead.
That's fine. We can roll. We can roll the tape. We can roll the tape and play the old footage. But I said talented. You always say this is the best era. I said it's the most skilled era.
Oh, got you. Because
the most skilled.
Had the most stars. We have the most stars now.
Yeah. I'm not talking about stars. I'm talking about skills, talent inside the ring. Even if nobody knows a person, I think this is the era with the most skill, the fighters with the most skill ever. But nevertheless,
I'm glad you said that, because I think this particular weight division probably has the most skill, because I wouldn't say that he has the most potential. I say that there's a lot of guys. Teofimo beat the #1 guy. So there's a lot of guys in that division, and Devin Haney, he's super skillful, fights a little bit lower and longer, and he barely gets hit as well. So I think that this division, and you got Ryan Garcia, like Jojo Diaz, this division is just the most skillful, today probably.
Yes, it's a very skilled division, but like I said, I think all of boxing has too many skilled fighters, all the way from the lower weight classes, from Chocolatito Inoue, to super middleweight, to light heavyweight. It's just a super talented era, and I think Shakur is one, among those fighters that have the most potential in boxing, no question about it.